everybody? We are alive, right? That's good. We arrived, as brother said, year 78. My wife and I, we lived in Georgia with plans and personal plans, good ones, but personal plans, and God changed everything. And He wanted for us to come here, and here we came with the idea to go to Central America to serve in Nicaragua. And then God told us that He didn't want for us to go that direction, but stay here. And this was the last place I wanted to be here. And I'll tell you the truth, we came in August. Nicaragua, it is a place of volcanoes and lakes. There are mountains, there are lakes, and the beautiful things, and also a couple of bad ones. And we went from Georgia. Georgia is more northern. It has mountains, it has lakes, it has a very um, beautiful climate. So there was not many difference when we moved here, from there. Everything looked great. But the Lord was always, He was always poking the heart and to serve Him. And it was there where God told us officially, and we took the decision. I didn't see any dream or another angel or a chariot of fire, but it was just His Spirit speaking to my spirit that this was the decision that He wanted me to take. So it was a time of struggle to make the decision because we already had established plans in everything. And the best thing we could do, God had opened excellent doors, opportunities to study, to work, to fulfill them, and to change everything in order to come to a place where we didn't know. And we came through a brother who was here, a brother Ismael, who is a pastor now in Florida. And he told me, "What do you think about this place?" And then we came here, and then I talked to my wife, and we agreed that this was the place that God wanted us to come here. One thing is when you have a wife, and then you say, "Let's go," because now you're not just one or two. You're not one, but two. And that's how God showed me in the month of August. It was in a very hard climate and a very harsh place. We looked for mountains, and there was no mountain. We seek for big trees, and the highest trees were bushes. We were seeking for rivers, and they were just streams, and just one river right there. And our perspective changed. And she cried, and I almost cried as well. And I told her, "We're just going to be here 4 years. The very evening I graduate, we leave, I promise." And I can never forget that phrase that in the Bible says that, and God heard that. God had other plans, and He made it very clear that He wanted for this place for us to serve. And now we are here doing what we can because that's what God expects from us. And if we do what we can, we have done what God expects from us. So we are here once again, and it's good to see you. And we're going to see through the book of Joshua. Go to the book of Joshua. We're going to see verse 1 to verse 9, and we're going to try to use the most of the time. And thank you, brother, for who make it possible in order for us to be here. Joshua chapter 1, and we're going to see about crossing the Jordan. So Joshua chapter 1, it is very well known because it is the occasion where God talks to Joshua and says, in the verse 2, and he's always calls him attention because God says to Moses, Moses, my servant is dead. And it's like when one goes to a place and when he's sat, somebody's sitting and they ask you, are you sitting there? And I tell them, what do you think? I'm sitting. And then you ask me, are you sat? And then God told Joshua, Moses, my servant is dead. And where was Joshua when this happened? Of course, he was crying too. It was. So there's something more in this expression. We're going to see. Therefore, the time has come for you to lead these people, the Israelites, across the Jordan into the land I'm giving them.
Pasa este Jordán, tú y todo este pueblo, a la tierra que yo les doy a los hijos de Israel.
And now he's giving him a declaration of encouragement, of hope, of peace in a way, of provision, of tranquility. Because in the things that he says that nobody will be able to make you front or be against you. And he made him a promise that he was going to give him surrender everything to him. And it seems that the promise given to Joshua, he told him, take courage. And then we saw that the people of Israel had been liberated from Egypt, and now for a few years he had spent in the desert. And Egypt, it was a type of the world, and Israel, it was a type of liberation. And now, when God was leading them into the promised land, they didn't believe him, and therefore, because they didn't believe God, it cost them living in the desert. And
y cuando seguimos la carne sabe cómo premiar, pero también cómo atormentar.
Therefore, now they are in front of the Jordan, and the task of crossing the Jordan, it's in front of them, and crossing the Jordan is a type of consecration, because now they needed to cross it, and in crossing it they needed to do certain have certain attitudes towards God that required an attitude of total dependency on God. It is a beautiful word in our Christian life, but little practiced. But in the practice, it's very hard for us to practice this, to surrender to God. It is not an act of like salvation, but it's an experience like the fulfilling of the Holy Spirit. It does not occur in one occasion as well. It is in the walk of the life that you learn how to experience what it really means to be surrendered to God. Consecration. And now Israel was in front of Jordan, and they needed to cross it. And in order to cross it, I'm gonna ask for you to take this idea as a typology or a symbol of a life of consecration, of surrenders.
para cruzar
in
el
order to cross the
Jordán,
Jordan,
el pueblo tenía que aprender
the people of
a
Israel
depender
had
de
to
Dios,
learn how to depend
a
of God.
depender de Dios,
Dependence
dependencia de
on
Dios. Por
God.
eso es
That's
que
why
le dice
God says
Dios
to
a
Joshua
Josué
and to
y
the
al
people of
pueblo,
Israel,
mi siervo
Moses, my
Moisés
servant, is
ha
dead.
muerto. Porque
Because in
para
order to
aprender a
depend
depender de
on
Dios,
God, you have
hay
to
que
recognize
reconocer nuestra
our
incapacidad personal y la capacidad de Dios. Moisés
our
había sido un
inability to do
tipo
things
de
and the ability
ayuda
that God
continua
has
al
in order to
pueblo.
accomplish
El
things
pueblo
for
había
us.
aprendido tanto a depender de Moisés. Cada vez que tenían necesidad iban de
Every
Moisés.
time
Cada
that the
vez que
people of
tenían
Israel
frustración
had
iban de
need, they
Moisés.
went to
Cada vez que se
Moses. Every
frustraban iban de
complaint, they went to
Moisés y
Moses,
lo
and even
amenazaban de
they would
apedrearlo, lo
um,
amenazaban de dejarlo, lo
give them
amenazaban de
threats of
regresarse a Egipto.
going back to
Y Moisés
Egypt
cada
or
vez se
maybe
quedaba
stoning him. And
escuchándolos
Moses,
y
every
cuando no
time,
sabía,
he would listen to them.
mayoría de veces
And
no sabía qué
sometimes he
hacer,
didn't know. And then
iba
he
donde
would go to
Dios y le
God.
decía a Dios, este
And
pueblo quiere
then he would
matarme.
talk to God and express his feeling that the
Este
people
pueblo
of
está haciendo
Israel
esto,
wanted to
¿qué
do
hago?
this or wanted to
Y
kill him.
Moisés siempre
And
buscaba y
Moses always
encontraba
asked and
solución a los
always, he
problemas que el
always as
pueblo
well
tenía.
found
El
a
pueblo
solution.
clamaba y Moisés buscaba solución a ese problema que estaba teniendo en el pueblo. Así es que
Therefore,
se había vuelto entonces una
Moses
persona
had
que
become
del pueblo, del cual
a
el pueblo
person,
dependía.
had become a person that
Hermanos,
where the people depended on
para
him.
recordar en nuestra consagración, la confortabilidad puede resultar en confiar más
So
en
being
nosotros
comfortable
que en
a lot of the
Dios.
times can
La
lead to
confortabilidad.
trusting more in our
¿Saben quiénes están
abilities in
más
us,
peligrosos
being more
de no depender,
reliable on us.
de no aprender a cómo depender de Dios entre ustedes? Aquellos que ya tienen quien les pague sus estudios. Ya está asegurada.
It is harder for a student to learn
¿Sabe quiénes son los
this
que todas las noches se
for a
acuestan
person
clamando a Dios,
that
Señor?
already
Llevo ahí en la oficina
has
me mandaron
paid
una
all his
notita.
tuition,
Los que no
and the
saben de
ones
dónde
who
va a venir ni
are
cómo van a pagar.
actually praying and asking
Los
God
que su
every
iglesia les
night,
dijo que le iba a
knowing that,
mandar
depending on Him, not knowing where the money
y
is
no
going
les
to
ha
come
mandado
from.
nada.
Those who the church,
Y están
their local
pensando,
church promised
Señor,
them to support them,
ayúdanos.
and they haven't supported them.
Es más
So it's
fácil en la
easier to be
confortabilidad
comfortable.
no confiar tanto en
So
Dios.
when being comfortable, not really trusting God.
Hermanos, porque así
And
sucede.
brothers, that's just
Sentimos
how it happens
más
because
la
we feel
necesidad de
more the
depender de
need
Dios
of
cuando no
depending
hay
on God when there
que
is
cuando
nothing.
hay. Como sabe, pastor, pues por
And
ahí
as you know,
pasamos.
Pastor, we go through there.
A veces deseara, y ¿para qué les voy a decir? Es verdad.
It is
Cuando
very
estuve
true.
los
When I
4
was
años aquí,
here,
allá
the
en los
4
años
years,
78,
in year 1978,
veníamos
we would
tempranito a
come
orar.
very early
Temprano estábamos en
to
unos árboles allá
pray.
debajo de la biblioteca orando. Porque no sabía dónde iba a
Because
comer
we
el
didn't
sustento.
know where the food was going to come
Y para
from.
ajustar mi presupuesto, en aquellos años, este era un huerto del Edén.
And in those years,
Había
this
mucha
place
verdura,
was like a Garden of Eden. There was lots of
frutas,
fruit.
vegetales. Y era común
It
que
was
uno
very
cuando iba
common
a un lugar donde estaban levantando
for one.
cebollas,
If you went to a place around here, a
verdes.
couple of the people were
Uno le pedía al
picking
vecino,
up
¿verdad? Si podía levantar unos cuantos y se los regalaba.
apples,
Traía, como si
things of
fueran
several
unas bolsas
fruits,
y llenas
and
de
I would
fruta, los
go
traía.
and ask them if I could take
Con
some,
todo eso ajustaba para
and I would
poder
bring
comer
some, and
la comida.
that was enough for uh,
Había
in
clamor
order
al
to
Señor.
provide for my family, and every day praying to
A veces
God.
deseara, digo, Señor, ¿cómo quisiera volver a esos
And
tiempos?
sometimes I wish and
Me
ask the
pregunto,
Lord.
Señor, ¿qué
Sometimes I
hago yo
just
para que
wish I could go back to those times in order to
pero
test again the
ya me siento
trusting
bien
God
así?
and those little things.
Pero Dios se encarga de traer otras cosas
And
y
God
otras cosas.
brings
Ahora es
other new
otras
things,
áreas en el ministerio,
new
otras áreas en la
areas in
vida, otras
ministry, new
áreas en la
areas
familia.
in our
Pero
lives,
es
and it's
constante.
content
Si no aprendemos, hermano, en la
that if we don't
consagración,
learn in
necesitamos
consecration,
entender que
in
si vamos a
dependence,
consagrarnos a Dios,
depending,
hay que aprender a depender de Dios. Y para
that
aprender
we
a
need to
depender de
depend
Dios,
on
hay que,
God. And in order to
reconocer la
depend in God,
incapacidad
we have to
humana y la
recognize
capacidad divina. Para cruzar el Jordán
or
hay que
lack that
tener
we have
fe
to
para
understand that
obedecer.
we cannot
Fe
do
para obedecer.
things, and we need to have
No
faith as well
solamente
to
hay que
obey.
reconocer la incapacidad humana y la capacidad
Not only
divina, pero
recognize
también
the incapability, the
hay que tener fe para obedecer. Note lo que dice el Señor.
but as well
Levántate
we
y
have to
pasa
have
este Jordán.
faith and
Así se
obey.
oye tan fácil. Como que el
And as
Jordán
God
estaba
said,
seco.
go, rise and
Levántate y
cross the
pasa el
Jordan.
Jordán.
And he was like, it sounds like it
Oiga,
was very
pero esto de
easy,
pasar el Jordán
like if the Jordan
es
was
cosa
dry.
así nomás, Señor. No se puede hacer así. No. Sin embargo,
But
se
still,
levantó.
Joshua didn't say
Y usted
anything, and
puede
he
seguir allí
rose.
viendo y cómo Josué
And we
preparó
see how he prepared
todo
everything
para que
in order to
actuar,
act, in order to act.
Planeó y luego
He
actuó. Mire,
planned
lo
and
más
then he
fácil es
act.
hacer
The
planes. Hay
easiest thing is
hermanos
to do
misioneros
plans.
que me presentan planes y mire, pastor, estos son los planes. Para planear no se
In order
necesita fe.
to plan, you don't have to have faith.
Se
You only
necesita
need to
pensar,
think,
evaluar.
evaluate. I'm
Un
just making a
paréntesis
small
aquí,
parenthesis
futuros
for future
pastores,
pastors. Learn
aprende
now
ahorita
how to
cómo
plan.
planear,
The
la
technique
técnica de
of
planear,
planning.
hacer presupuestos,
Make a budget.
preparar obreros.
Preparing leaders.
Hay
There's so
tantos
many
pastores
pastors
que no
who don't
planean ni
plan
siquiera las actividades del año en la
that
iglesia.
even the guide of the year of their
Y al
church.
mes están llamando a un predicador y dice, pastor, ¿podría venir a predicarnos? ¿Y cuándo es?
And then
El
they
otro
are
mes.
asking pastors, can you
Oye,
please come
espérate, no,
preach next month?
no es así, pero bueno,
But
que
that
ese es
is
otro
another
tema.
subject. You
Hay que
have to plan.
Planear no se necesita mucha
To
fe.
plan, you don't need much
Pero
faith.
para
But in order
ejecutar las acciones que
to
Dios
do the
pone en nuestro
actions
corazón en
that
ese
God put in our
planeamiento,
heart,
sí se necesita fe.
faith is required.
Si
If
ustedes
you
van al
see in
capítulo
chapter
3 y vamos
3, and
a
we're going to
alcanzarle un poco el
see a little
tiempo,
bit further,
ustedes van a
you're going to
ver
see
que
that
ahora
now,
la
the,
prueba iba a venir. Dios le dijo,
now the
levántate y
test was
pasa
going
el
to
Jordán.
happen.
Y le dijo, ¿cómo?
And
Y
now
le dijo,
go
manda a los sacerdotes adelante.
and send
Ellos van a ser los
the
primeros en
prophets
entrar al Jordán.
in front.
Y cuando ellos lleguen, ahora ustedes siguen.
And when they
Y esto
get
era
there,
un proceso
you
que
follow.
requería
And this
fe,
procedure required
fe,
faith,
fe. Es
faith, faith.
necesario
It is
para
necessary in order to
poder
cross
cruzar el
Jordan.
Jordán. Tenemos que aprender a
We need to
depender
learn
de
how to
Dios.
depend
Si vas
of
a
God.
consagrar
If
tu
you're
vida
going
al
to
Señor y si
consecrate your
nuestra
life
vida va a ser
to
una
God,
vida consagrada al Señor, mis queridos hermanos, esto nunca
this
termina.
never finishes.
Nunca termina. Vas a tener que
This will
constantemente ir
have to
reconociendo, yo no
constantly,
puedo, pero todo
you
lo
will
puedo
have
en
to
Cristo que me
constantly recognize
fortalece.
that I
Yo no
cannot do
sé cómo
it,
voy a hacer
but
esto, pero lo
I
voy a
will do
hacer,
it in the
Señor.
strength
Y
of God.
sabe, vas a aprender a obedecer por fe
And you're
aquí.
going to learn how to obey by faith here.
Aquí. Cuando el
When the
diablo te
devil
tiente a poner la ranchera
tempts
favorita
you to put
y sabes que eso es del mundo y de la carne.
a song that is from the world.
Cuando el diablo te pone en tu corazón y mente poner la música que agrada a la carne,
When Satan tempts you
sabiendo que eso no
to
agrada a
put a
Dios.
song
Esa es una prueba chiquita
that
de
is
fe. Pero si no pasas esa, ¿cómo esperas que vengan
a
las
song
grandes?
that just exalts your flesh.
La
It's a
obediencia
little
se
trial,
muestra lo
but
más
it's
sencillo
something
posible.
that faith is
No
required.
os juntéis con yugo desigual. Y eso está tan
How
claro
God says,
como que el sol está brillando. No os caséis
do
con
not,
impíos.
do
No os
not
juntéis con
marry
personas que no
unbelievers.
andan agradando a Dios en su vida.
People who
Y
do
si
not
andas con alguien que no agrada a Dios en su vida,
please God in
tú
their
estás
lives. And if you
desobedeciendo a
marry
Dios.
somebody
Ese es un
doing
paso
that,
chiquito de obediencia. Y
you
si
are
para
already
ese
disobeying.
poquito paso de
And
fe no
if you didn't
pudiste tener
have
fe para
faith for
obedecer,
that little thing,
¿cómo
how
piensas
do
que
you
vas a
think
obedecer en el paso
you're going to have
grande?
faith to obey in the
Todos
big step?
empezamos gateando para
We
aprender a
all take
caminar.
small steps. We first
Y
crawl in order
luego
to
aprendimos
walk,
a
and
caminar
then
y
we
luego a
learn how to
correr.
walk, and then we run.
En la
And
vida
in the
cristiana
Christian
es
life
igual.
is
Si
the
no aprendemos
same.
a obedecer
In
en
order
los pasos pequeños, ¿cómo
we have to take
crees que
small
vamos a obedecer
steps. And
en los
how do you
pasos
think if
grandes?
we can't obey in the small steps, how are we
Y
going to
si no
obey in the
tuvimos
big
éxito en los
steps?
pasos pequeños, ¿cómo tendremos
And how are we
éxito en
going to
los
have
grandes? Esta es parte de la
success on the big
consagración. Pero
ones?
también para cruzar el Jordán en
And
esa
in order to
acción
cross the
de
Jordan, in that
consagración a Dios, hay que
action of
avanzar
consecration to God,
en la
we have
dirección
to
que Dios
go
estableció.
forward with the
Hay que
direction that God
avanzar en la
established.
dirección que Dios aprobó. allí miren ustedes en el
We
capítulo
see
1,
in the
del verso
chapter
11 en
1
adelante,
and in verse
cuando Dios
11
le dice que
and,
caminen en esa
and forward,
dirección.
and he says that
Ahora,
God tells
tenían
them
que
to walk
caminar
that
hacia
direction,
pasar el
and they needed
Jordán.
to
Pasar, le
walk
dice, por medio del
and pass
campamento, y
the
luego
Jordan.
les va entregando
That
las
he gives them
direcciones o
the
directrices
directions and the specific
específicas para que
directions in order to
avancen. Oiga bien,
go
hermanos,
forward.
la
You
dirección
see
para
that the
avanzar ha
direction
sido
to go
establecida por
forward
Dios.
established by
Pasa
God.
este
Cross this
Jordán,
Jordan.
no el Éufrates,
Not the
este Jordán.
Euphrates, this
Aquí vas a
Jordan.
pasar.
You're going to cross through here.
Este
This
es
is
el
the
lugar que
place you
tienes
have
que
to
pasar.
cross. You have
Hay
to
que
cross it
pasarlo. En esa
in that
dirección
direction.
está. Pásala.
Cross it.
La dirección
The
estaba conectada con las promesas de Dios.
The directions were
La
connected to the
dirección era la
promises of
establecida por
God
Dios y estaba conectada con la promesa de Dios
in
para
order
que
to
posean la
possess the
tierra que
land that I
yo doy
gave
a
to
los
the
hijos de
people of
Israel.
Israel.
Eso
That
fue
was
prometido a
promised to Abraham
Abraham años
years
antes, a
ago,
Isaac, a
to
Jacob.
Isaac,
Y la
to
dirección
Jacob,
estaba
and the
conectada con las
direction was
promesas de Dios.
connected to the promise
Entonces,
that
cuando
God had given to
caminamos
them.
en la dirección
And
establecida
if we,
por Dios, conectadas con las promesas de Dios, ahora sí tendremos la bendición de Dios porque Dios puso sus bendiciones en la dirección
and
que
when we go
Él
towards the
escogió.
direction that God established and where the
Posible que
blessings
se
are
vea
connected to,
difícil,
yes,
no hay
we're going to be
duda que
blessed
sí.
because God
La
has blessed
dirección,
that
como
path.
dice Dios mismo le dice, la dirección es desconocida para ustedes. Ustedes no conocen el camino por el cual van a pasar, pero yo
And
sí
God
lo
tells
conozco.
us, you don't know
¿Dónde
where
Dios nos
you're going to
guía?
go, but
No
I do
conocemos,
know
como les dije
the
al
path.
principio. Venimos aquí
We came here
pensando, bueno, esto
thinking,
es lo que Dios
well,
quiere y
here's
creyéndolo,
what God wants for us,
pero
and we
tenemos
have
que
to
aceptar,
accept.
Dios es el que
God is
marca
the
la
one who
dirección.
marks the
Yo
steps,
creo
the
hasta hoy
direction.
firmemente que si hubiera dicho, ¿sabe qué, Dios? El valle no me gusta,
And if I would have said,
geográficamente
the
no me
valley,
gusta.
I don't like it.
Hay gente aquí habla
There are people
Tex-Mex, ni hablar
here
el
who
idioma saben.
not even speak English or
Yo hablo
Spanish.
perfecto español.
They speak
La gente está
Tex-Mex,
pocha y mocha.
which is a combination of the both.
Y viendo eso, le he dicho a Dios, ¿sabe qué, Señor? Aparte del clima,
And,
aquí
and
hay más
apart
pulgas y
from the
garrapatas que
climate,
gente. El clima es caliente, aquí no hay
it
árboles,
is
aquí no
very
hay ríos,
hot.
aquí no hay
There is no
lagos, aquí
trees.
esto
There
está
is.
cerca al purgatorio, si
It is
hubiera.
close to purgatory if there was one.
Si no pudiera Nicaragua, yo voy a Costa Rica, porque es un
If I
hermoso
couldn't go to
país.
Nicaragua, I
Soy
could
un
go to
tico
Costa
aquí, pero
Rica.
no
It's a
puedo
beautiful
decir
country. But you
¿Sabe?
know,
Hubiera habido tantas cosas que nunca hubiera
there would have been a
conocido
lot
de
of things I
Dios.
would have never gotten to know
Solo
of
porque
God
no me quedé
only for
donde Dios
not
dijo,
obeying.
aunque no te guste, aunque no es
Even
lo
though
que tú
you
quieres,
something that you don't like
eso es lo
or
que
you
yo
don't
quiero.
want is what I want,
Y aquí
and
te
you're
vas a
gonna
quedar.
stay here.
Dice, no, pero es
But
que
no,
mis
because
padres
my
están allá,
parents
mis
are
tíos van a estar
there,
sin
and you're gonna.
abuelitos. Mis
My
suegros y mi
parents,
suegra
my
están en Georgia.
parents-in-law
Vamos a
are
quedar
in
sin abuelitos,
Georgia.
los hijos. No, mejor
No, probably I
regreso.
should go back. Georgia is much
Mejor, allá hay
better.
hispanos también, ahí me pongo a trabajar con ellos.
Listen
Oiga bien,
well.
la dirección la marcó
God
Dios
established direction
y está
and is very
conectada con sus
connected to His
promesas.
promises. And
Y
we're
si vamos en la
going
dirección
to the
correcta,
right direction,
conectada con las promesas de
connected
Dios,
to the promises of God.
aunque no
Even though we don't
conocemos
know
el
the
camino,
path,
ya Dios lo conoce.
God already knows it.
Y Él ya puso provisión
And
en
He already
ese
put
camino.
provision in that path.
Y lo que
And what
tenemos
we
que
have
hacer
to
es
do
caminar
is
en la
just
dirección
walk
correcta,
and take the steps towards the right direction.
aunque no parezca que es la
No
apropiada.
matter if to us it
En
seems
la
that it's not the
dirección
appropriate
establecida
one.
por Dios, encontramos el propósito de Dios. En
In
el
the
verso
direction God
11 dice,
establishes,
para
we
que
find God's
posean,
purpose.
para
In
que
order to
entra
possess,
para poseer la tierra que Jehová vuestro Dios dio, os da en posesión. Este es el propósito. Quiero que pasen el Jordán. Esa es la dirección que yo les
and when you
marco.
cross the Jordan,
Y
and
allí
in
en
that
esa dirección
direction, you're
van a
going to
encontrar
find
el
the
propósito que
purpose
yo tengo para
that I
ustedes,
have for
para que
you in
tomen
order for you to
posesión de la
possess the
tierra
land that I
que
have
yo les
given
voy a
the
dar.
people of Israel.
Ahora, la
So the
posesión
possession
de
of
tierra,
that
hermanos,
land,
era para
it was for
varias
many
cosas. Era para
reasons. It was in
mostrar
order to
el poder
show
y el
the
amor de
power and the
Dios. El
love of
pueblo no
God. It
llegó
was
allí
not
por
just
capacidad
for,
personal o por santidad personal.
it was not
Llegó
because they
allí por el
could,
poder de Dios y por la
but it was
gracia de
because
Dios.
of the grace of
Era
God. It
para
was in order to
mostrar el poder de
show
Dios,
the
el amor
power
de
and the
Dios,
love
la
and faithfulness of God.
todo
He
eso
was
era con ese
all of this was
fin.
with
Y
this
cuando
purpose.
vamos en la dirección que Dios estableció, unido y alcanzando el propósito que Dios ha establecido, allí
And
conocemos
when we
el poder de
go
Dios, el amor de Dios, la
towards
fidelidad
the
de Dios
direction that God
y
established,
tantas
is there
otras
where we
cosas más
find God's
que
love,
solo
grace,
Dios pudo
and
hacer.
purpose, and so many other things that God only does.
Pero no
And
las
we don't know
conocemos
them
si no vamos
if
corriendo,
we do not
caminando
walk
en la
towards the
dirección que
direction that
Dios
God
estableció
establishes
para
in
hallar
order
el
to
propósito que Dios
get there
estableció.
to the purpose that God established.
Pero oiga bien, para avanzar en la dirección establecida por Dios y
In order to
encontrar el
advance
propósito
towards
de
that
Dios,
direction
debemos
and find
de
the purpose of God,
ir
we have to go
comprometidos
committed
y
and
cooperando
also
con Dios
working
y con las
with God
personas que Él nos pone
and
en
with
el
the
camino
people
bajo
that God
su
puts in our
voluntad.
way
Usted
on
ven eso en el
His
verso
will,
12,
by His
13 y
will.
14.
You see, verse 13 and 14,
Tenemos que ir
we have to
caminando en
walk
esa
towards that
dirección.
direction.
Ahí entramos
It is there
en ese proceso
where we
de saber
enter
vivir,
into this process
de
of
irnos
knowing how to live,
comunicando y conociendo qué es lo que Dios quiere, qué rumbo quiere.
looking
Ya
for
sabemos,
where God
ahora el
wants for us
propósito,
to
ahí lo vamos
go,
descubriendo.
where
Es
God wants for
imposible,
us to go.
hermano, Dios no nos abre puertas para verla todo de una sola vez. Qué lindo
If
fuera
God
la
would
vida
open
cristiana
the
y el
doors
ministerio, qué lindo
of
fuera.
everywhere where God
Si
wants for
Dios
us to
nos dice,
go,
mira, te abro esta puerta, ya que te abro esta, voy a abrirte aquella, y voy a mostrarte desde el principio hasta el
but
fin.
after I open this door and after the
Quizás no
other door,
entraríamos porque en ese proceso hay
maybe we
problemas,
would be
vamos a verlo
afraid
ahorita.
because through that whole
Dios
process there
abre
will
una
be
puerta a la vez.
problems and
Y cuando
challenges.
Él abre
God
puerta
opens a
para
door
que
at a time
entremos,
in order for us to enter, and
Dios
then
suple suficiente
in order for
gracia
us
para
to
pasar
enter,
por esa
He
puerta, para
provides
pasar por
enough
la siguiente
grace
puerta.
and
Y
support
todo el
in order
camino
for
son
us to
puertas
go
que Dios
through it.
abre y hay que
And
saber
throughout
pasar en
life,
ellas.
there are several doors we have to go to.
Pero para pasar el
So in order to
Jordán
cross the Jordan, it is
es
necessary
necesario
to
aprender
learn to
a
depend
depender
on
de
God,
Dios,
to
avanzar
go
en la
forward
dirección
in
correcta
the
si
right
es que vamos a
direction.
consagrarnos. Y
And
finalmente
finally,
hay que aprender
you must learn
de las adversidades. Hay que aprender. Capítulo 2 nos enseña
through
eso.
the rough
Estos espías fueron
circumstances.
enviados allá. Dice que Josué, hijo de Nun, verso 1, del capítulo 2,
And in
envió
chapter 2, we see that
desde Sittim
Joshua
dos
sent two
espías secretamente,
spies.
diciéndoles, andad, reconocer la tierra y a Jericó. Y ellos fueron y entraron en casa de una ramera que se llamaba Rahab y posaron allí. Y
He's now
fue
reading
dado
from chapter
aviso al rey
2,
de Jericó diciendo, he aquí que
beginning
hombres de
verses.
los hijos de Israel han venido aquí esta noche para espiar la tierra. Aprender de las
Learning from
adversidades. Yo
difficulties.
sé que esto va a sonar un
I know
poco
this is going to
rudo,
be a little bit rough, but
pero escúchelas porque si no estás
listen to
despierto
it
ahora te
now.
vas a despertar después.
Because if you're not awake
Las
now,
adversidades
it will wake you up then.
son parte del
But
plan de Dios.
the challenges,
Las
the
adversidades
rough
son
times,
parte del
are
plan
part
de
of
Dios.
God's plan.
¿Sabes que estos espías
The
se les
adversities.
cambió su mundo de un momento a otro? Todo
For
iba
the
bien.
spies, the world changed
Ahí el
everything.
recorrido, llegaron allá,
Everything went
habían
well.
encontrado donde
They had
aún
gone to a
llegar y
place
de repente.
to arrive,
¿Cómo
and
fueron
suddenly,
descubiertos? No nos dice la
how were
Escritura.
they,
¿Cómo supieron que fueron descubiertos?
how
No
were
nos
they
dice la
discovered?
Escritura.
We don't
Solo
know,
nos
but
dice que
only the
fueron
Bible tells us that they
descubiertos.
were
De
discovered.
alguna manera
They
se dieron
found
cuenta
out
que
that
fueron descubiertos.
they were discovered in a way.
Ahora,
And now
nosotros
we
lo
read,
leemos y
and our
nuestras emociones
emotions
ni
are
se
not
alteran.
alterated.
Pero
But
ponte
put
en el
yourself in
zapato
the
de
shoes
esos
of these
dos
spies.
espías. Y eres tú, fuimos nosotros, ahora ellos. ¿Cómo nos sentimos cuando andamos
How
en
do we
una
feel
misión donde la
when,
vida está de por medio y somos
when we are in a
descubiertos?
mission that our
Y
life
ahora,
being at stake, and then we are
las pruebas,
discovered?
hermanos, las adversidades son parte del plan de Dios. A veces
These
personas con el
adversities
proclamación
and
del evangelio de la
challenges are
prosperidad,
part of God's
es una
purpose.
gran mentira.
For those who
Dicen que
preach
si estamos, somos hijos del rey
the
y
prosperity
comemos del rey, no
gospel,
debe
it is a
pasarnos nada,
lie.
y todo debe ser prosperidad,
It's
prosperidad,
not all
prosperidad.
prosperity, prosperity,
Yo no sé
prosperity.
dónde
I
ponen
don't know
al
where they
apóstol
put the
Pablo.
Apostle Paul.
El apóstol Pablo vivía de chicotes a
Apostle
chicotes,
Paul, he lived from rough times,
corriendo
through
por su
rough
vida,
times, running from
de
running
canasta en
from
canasta.
for his life.
Y él mismo nos dice su
He
testimonio.
himself let us know
entonces andaría
in
en pecado
his
toda la vida.
testimony.
No, es que así es el
No,
ministerio.
that's how ministry is.
Es bonito ver cuando
It's
por
very
la gracia
beautiful
de
to
Dios algún
see
siervo fiel se ha mantenido fiel y Dios le ha
that through the grace
bendecido.
of God, a faithful servant has
Pero sería bueno regresar
stayed
cómo le empezó,
faithful and God has
cómo le fue al inicio.
blessed him.
¿Cuáles son las
But
luchas
if
que
you go to
pasó?
the
Las
beginning, what
adversidades
challenge did
son
he
parte del
face?
plan de Dios. Por medio de
And
ellas
through them, we
aprendemos a
learn
desarrollar
to
carácter.
develop
Verso 14
character.
nos
Verse
enseña eso.
14, we
Nuestra
see
vida
that.
responderá por la tuya.
Character,
Carácter. Las adversidades, por medio
adversities,
de ellas aprendemos
and through
a
them,
evaluarlo
we
todo,
learn to
todo lo
evaluate
evaluamos cuando hay
everything.
adversidades. Las adversidades
Adversities
nos ayudan
help
a
us
conocer la provisión de Dios, capítulo
learn God's
2,
purpose.
verso 8 y verso 9. Allí aprendieron,
There's where they
conocieron que había
learn
miedo en el pueblo, que había
that they were
temor,
fear,
conocieron que
and they
Dios
knew that
estaba
God
con
was with
Israel, fueron
Israel, and they
animados
were
ellos, estos
encouraged.
espías, y también
And
regresaron
they
para animar al
they
pueblo,
went
verso
back and
23, verso
encouraged the
24,
people of Israel.
animaron al pueblo, le
They
dijeron,
told them
allá oímos, nos
that
dimos
we
cuenta que el
know
temor
that the
de Dios
fear of
ha
God
caído sobre
has
todo Jericó,
come
y
down
tienen
to the
miedo en gran
people
manera, están miedosos. La adversidad son
of
parte del plan de
Jericho.
Dios, la adversidad nos
So
ayudan a conocer
adversities
la provisión de
help us
Dios
to
y las
know
adversidades nos
the
convierten en
purpose of God, and
instrumentos
as
en las
well
manos
helps
de
us as
Dios
well
para
to
avanzar sus
become
planes.
instruments in the hands of God.
En los planes
And
de
in the
Dios
plans of God,
estaba, siempre ha sido así, salvar en vez de
and in the
condenar.
plans of God, there was
Y había
always a
una
purpose
mujer
of
que había confiado
saving.
en Dios, que había oído de Dios y había confiado en
There
el
was a
Dios
woman
de
that
Israel.
had trusted in the God of Isaiah.
Y ella no solamente había
And
declarado confianza en Dios, pero también pasó el mensaje de
not only
salvación
not
a
only
su
she
pueblo.
trusted,
El
but
cordón
as
de
well
lana que colgaron en la ventana era un tipo de la sangre de Cristo que sería derramada en la cruz del Calvario.
the
Años
ribbon
después, rojo carmesí.
that she hung from her window was a
Dios
type
quería usar a
of
Rahab. Rahab
the
está
blood
en
of
la genealogía
Jesus.
de Cristo, Mateo capítulo 1. También está entre los héroes de la
Rahab,
fe, Hebreos
it is
capítulo
also
11.
included
Era el plan de Dios. El plan de Dios
in
era usar a Rahab, la ramera.
as a hero of the faith,
Pero para
and
usarla
it was in the plans of God
tenía que ser salva.
to use her.
Tenía que escapar viva
And
de
in order to
Jericó.
fulfill this plan, she needed to
Tenía
come,
que unirse al
be
pueblo de
alive.
Dios. Y todo
And
esto
all of this
sucedió
happened
solo
only
porque
because
esos
these
dos
two
espías
spies they
fueron
were discovered
descubiertos que andaban
that
en
they were
Jericó.
in Jericho.
Ahora ellos se
Now
convirtieron
they
en
became
instrumentos
instruments
en las
in
manos
the
de
hands of
Dios.
God.
Dice, pastor, entonces
And I would
debo de
say,
buscar
Pastor, do I
problemas.
have to
No,
look
ellos
for
llegan solos, no los
problems?
busques.
No,
Ellos
you don't
llegan
have to look
solos.
for them. They come by
Las
themselves.
adversidades las manda Dios con propósitos
God sends them
específicos.
with specific
Porque
purposes
tiene
because He has
planes.
plans.
A veces
And
decimos,
sometimes we
Señor,
say, God,
quítame
please
esto, esta
take
carga,
away
aparta,
this,
quita
take
estas
away this
circunstancias adversas.
circumstance.
Lo que no
But what
entendemos es que
we
Dios está
don't
usando las
understand is that God
circunstancias para formar
using this
nuestro carácter.
circumstance to mold our character.
En vez
And
de
in order to
preguntarle por qué,
ask,
Señor, a mí, debemos de preguntarle, Señor, ¿qué quieres?
why me? We have to ask Him,
¿Cuál es
God,
tu plan
what do
en
you
todo
want me
esto?
to do?
Las
What is your
adversidades
plan?
son parte del
Because
plan de
adversities
Dios.
are
Nos
part of
ayuda a
God's plan.
conocer la provisión de Dios. Nos convierten en instrumentos
It
en las
transforms
manos
us
de
into
Dios. Queridos
instruments in the
oyentes,
hands of God.
jóvenes, ustedes, igual que todos los creyentes, necesitamos consagrar nuestra vida a Dios.
We have to surrender our
El
life to
Jordán hay
God.
que pasarlo si vamos a seguir los planes y la voluntad de Dios.
In order
Para
to cross the
cruzar el
Jordan,
Jordán, significa esto
it means to
rendirnos a
surrender
Dios.
to God.
Hay que
We need
aprender
to
a conocer
know
a Dios. Hay
God.
que avanzar
We
en
need
la
to
dirección que Dios ha
go forward to
establecido.
the
Y hay
direction
que
that God
aprender
established.
de las adversidades que Dios permite en el camino.
If you're
Estás
going through
pasando
one,
por
a
una,
challenge,
si
an
estás
adversity
pasando por una que
that
tú
you
no
didn't create it,
fabricaste,
and
ni
you did not even look
buscaste,
for,
ni nada
and
más llegó
it only
así
arrived,
porque llegó.
ask
Pregúntale a Dios,
God,
Señor, ¿qué sigue después de esto?
what follows after this?
¿Cómo quieres moldearme?
How do you want me to, how
Cuando
do you want
termines conmigo,
me to be
nunca
shaped?
olvidemos, Él es el alfarero, nosotros somos el barro, y Él decide qué va a hacer en nosotros. Lo triste es
He
cuando Dios no
decides
trabaja con nosotros, porque
what
nosotros somos
to do in us.
material
And it is
indispuesto.
sad when He doesn't work in
Dice
us
Dios, yo
because we
quise
don't want.
usarte,
We are not material, willing to be molded. I always remember this young student who started with us, David Rojas. He had great talents. But one day he decided that to establish a relationship, and that changed everything for him. All of a sudden, David is gone. What happened? He went with that student, and that was the end for him. How much he could have done with them if they only would have crossed the Jordan. Let me tell you, that's one of the biggest challenges for you, for me, and for everyone. Is when God says, I want for you to go this way. And we say, Lord, but this way looks better. Here there are lots of vegetables like Egypt. And you know what happens. Consecration. Cross the Jordan. Because it's crossing the Jordan that is the blessing of God is found. Heavenly Father, bless your word. Apply it in our heart, God. In order for your glory, God, we are instruments in your hand. Help us in order to accomplish this in your power, and therefore be able to fulfill the eternal purposes that we will never be ashamed in front of you, in order to give account of all. In Jesus' name, amen. Thank you very much.